A little late, but well, and I'm not being late to be fashionably late. How many times have you gone to shows or things where they said 8 o'clock and they come on stage at 8:30, or you go to some play and it says, well, the plays are, they come on, and usually they're a lot more dependable. In any event, why concentrate on the negative? Hello, everybody, late to the game, but right now, here, live on a Friday night from the mysterious Bay Area, and very much overrated. At least the people are. The geography, oh, I love it. So I'm Rich Lieberman. I finally got my destination. My destination. Yeah, I was on the roof and I said, geez, it's local time. It's about 6:16. I better get down and go through the chimney. And here I am with my gruff appearance, which I don't know. I guess, when you get to a certain age, maybe you try something, but I don't know. So here I am. And we're going to hang out. And look, I am in for the long haul. And those of you that are tuning in that have not ID'd yourself, as I look on my right to see who the hell is here, and we're getting a little bit of a trickle in right now. Maybe some people gave up and they're going to come back to see if I show up and all that kind of a thing. So there you are. I have a massive TV monitor, which I've had for about 3 weeks now, and you're seeing the reflection of my gorgeous mini blinds in the setting sun on the west coast of this beautiful country. As I give, for no apparent reason, I give the geography and the weather related event taking place. There is no weather. We have a little bit of a heat wave out here, but nothing like what they've experienced in the Midwest and in the Southwest and that kind of a thing. So here I am. And as I said, I'm in this for the long haul. If we get people, as I said, I'm 17 minutes late. I apologize, but if we get people who I put out word via Twitter or X, whatever the hell they call it now, and a few other assorted people, not sorted, SORDID, ASSORTED. Excuse me. I need this. Not like a hole in the head. I need it. Why on these diet drinks can they not just come up with something that's not unhealthy, that does give you a jolt, that they don't have to put 8 million, preservatives in and chemicals and all that? Couldn't they find, like a vitamin water? I guess that's not carbonated in any event. We got somebody in here. Okay, good. Who is that? Rich Rock is on. Rich Rock. You mean Rock Rich? I used to have a label. Speaking of Ron Owens, years ago, and this goes back to 1976 when I was 13. He called me Rock Rich. And I think when I called in the first time, when Ron, who's, by the way, is the father of Laura Owens, Rock Rich, so I had that nameplate. And so somebody's, it could be, let's see, who is this? Who is this? Kala Casino Mahahoro. Can you explain yourself, who you are? Not that I'm suspicious and I'm not doing a federal investigation as to but you don't have to give me your Rock Rich. My bad. What? My bad. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's all right. So this could be anybody. This could be a guy by the name of Ivan Gold, the only person who still refers to me as Rock Rich. He's some attorney in the Bay Area who thinks I'm funny and, sometimes ignores me and sometimes sends me things. I don't know, but he used to call me Rock Rich. There was Rock Rich, And Ron Owens used to call me that when I was, considerably younger. And I would do this show called Rock Trivia, which was a staple of the Ron Owens program when he was at KGO at night. He had these, he called it, in fact, it would be on a Friday night, like tonight. And he used to do these theme type of programs. One was Rock Trivia, and then there was another called The Court of Status, Class, and Tacky. This was a Ron Owens staple. So those of you doing research, and that's how I got to meet Ron Owens. And then he also had a show. What was it called? It was Status, Class, Tacky. Then there was Rock Trivia. Oh yeah. Then there was Honest Chuck program where people would call in and they would tell a story, and you could make it up, or it really could have happened, right? So you make up a story, or you tell an honest story. And he had a guest. He was like this little 10-year-old kid, maybe a little older. And it was called Now Is That True? So and a lot of people had, real stories. A lot of people had fake stories. Your job was to tell the story and see if Honest Chuck could say whether it was true or false. And anyway, Ron, this was the start of his big time situation taking place in San Francisco. He was working the night shift from 8 to midnight in San Francisco. This was in the 70s, the mid to late 70s. And then he would eventually get huge. Then they moved him down from 6 to 9. And then when this big kahuna from 9 a.m., that's the morning, obviously, to noon, guy by the name of Owen Spann retired. And then they gave that gig, which was considered, still is, the primetime spot, to Ron Owens, who started in, 1984, in the 9 a.m. to noon spot. And, he kicked ass, proverbial kicked ass. Now the room is starting to get crowded. Folks, I'm sorry for being late. I had a date with a 18-year-old ventriloquist. No, I didn't. But I have a lot to say, and we could open this up to eventually, if you guys have questions or you want to talk about something. I don't want to just make it Laura Owens and Ron Owens and Jan Black. It could be anything. I have a few things that I wanted to talk about that are in the news, some of which were, items of pop culture, news, shit that may have happened that you guys didn't think could be talked about. Well, I'm here. But if you have your own topic and would like to, as long as it's kind of, I don't want to hear about your aunt's really wickedly bad lasagna and you got heartburn and, passed out, but something, maybe that you saw, which I'm going to get to in a minute. I know a lot of you may or may not like what I'm going to, I might as well talk about it, but I'm going to give out a phone number, and also, I'm also going to give out a email and all that, but phone number and all that kind of stuff. So I'm watching. Any of you see the Billy Joel interview? And this is his. He had an issue with his brain that he himself said it was a lot more or a lot less murkier than it appeared. And he's looked the same, sounds the same, that kind of a thing. So Bill Maher, who I can't stand, the guy's a pain in the ass. Let me see here. I see this Casa Miro something. Rock Rich is on the groove. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see. I'm with the Dave Neal. Oh, the Dave Neal posse. Oh, good. So the Dave, I wish Dave was on here right now. I'd have him on. Dave's good people and a real journalist and very entertaining. And I told him he ought to come to the Bay Area and do a comedy. Of course, I don't know his comedy texture, but he seems like the kind of guy that would probably be very funny. By the way, I told Dave Neal, who does he resemble? And to my look at this picture, I think he looks like very much like Dana Carvey, who I happen to have known and grew up. Obviously, Dana Carvey is a Bay Area guy, much like Robin Williams and other people. And a good friend of mine, I have a friend. Breaking news: a guy by the name of Larry Bubbles Brown opens for Dana Carvey, and Dana is touring now. He still plays. He doesn't do a lot of stand up, but he loves it so much that when he does do it, he will play like a one nighter, and he'll play up in Tahoe, or play, these big theaters or what have you. And anyway, friend of mine opens for him, and every time I see that picture of Dave Neal, I'm like, damn, that guy looks like Dana Carvey. So anyway, my 2 cents. Keep up the good work, Rock Rich. Well, are you the only one in here now? I guess so. I think some people came in at 6 Pacific time, and maybe in the East Coast and the Midwest. I wasn't here, and I was late, and I think maybe they split, but they'll be back. So I said I'm going to repeat myself because it's short attention span theater these days, that I will take this for a while, and hopefully we'll have more people come in here. Although I appreciate you. Is it or whatever? Oh, now we have another person. Okay, there's 5 people watching. Okay, 5 people. My God, that's a great crowd, big time crowd. All right, so I'm not going to put down the people that are here right now. I'm just saying I got here late. I did say 6 o'clock Pacific time, and I had some issues that I had to take care of and talk to somebody, and I lost complete focus on the clock. Shame on me. So anyway, I was talking about this interview with Billy Joel by this complete and utter asshole. Now, look, I respect Bill Maher. He's done very well, courtesy of the writers that he has. He's got great writers, and he could perform very well. He's got the technique down right. But first off, and I know this because I know a lot of people in the comedy community, he's an asshole, real mean guy. And the thing that I don't like, I mean, there's a whole bunch of assholes out there. They just have to be that way. So your immediate thoughts, if those of you that watch this guy or know him, and by the way, I think Real Time on HBO is a really good show. I kind of stopped watching it because I'm just sick of this PC crap where on his panel, you got a woman, you usually have a woman, you usually have a black person, an Asian person, and a gay person, or something like that, right? Forgive me, I'm like itching here for no apparent reason, but excuse me too. I'm not endorsing them, I'm just saying, God, I wish this tasted like regular Coke. It's Diet Pepsi, because I ran out of Coke, so I know you're all enthralled by this, so wait. Okay. I don't like Bill Maher. I like the show, and I want to folks. Those of you who have seen this show and watched it, he's got great writers. The writers are the essence of the program, especially when you have to rely on the themes that he does, and he does all these different shows now. He's not just on the HBO show, which appeared tonight. And he does a show on YouTube too, but he's all over the place, and not a very likable guy. I've been told this, that he can be a little bit of an asshole off the air too. And so he's doing this interview with Billy Joel, right? And those of you that have seen it, you might agree or disagree, whatever. It's my opinion. But and you can watch, if you watch this, and it's right out there. You can go. I think you can actually go on YouTube, a free plug for YouTube, to watch the interview. And Billy Joel, I could just tell. I'm a big Billy Joel fanatic, not a fan, a fanatic. So you can imagine when I heard about the situation with his brain and all that, and he was set to play the Bay Area in October. So I'm real bummed. I've seen him at least 30, 40 times. I've gone out of the market. I've gone to, I saw him in New York, Madison Square Garden, about 4 years ago. That's how much, I happened to be in New York, so I can go see him, and I got some connections, and, they got me some seats and all that. But so he's doing this interview with Bill Maher, and you could tell that he's immediately annoyed. But, look, you're a professional, you do the interview and that kind of thing. Ostensibly, he was promoting the HBO documentary, which, by the way, is fantastic. So good. And you don't have to be a Billy Joel fan to watch the HBO documentary. If you get HBO, it's there. Watch it. It's very good. And this, of course, the documentary doesn't deal with the fact of his situation with his brain. And by the way, folks, if you watch the deal with Maher, he talks about it. He said he was feeling good, that he wasn't, in any kind of weird look or demeanor. He says his balance is off. And other than that, he looked like Billy Joel, the same. Now, he's 75 years old, which is not old, right? But it's not young. And anyway, Maher was such an asshole. And the way he asks questions, and he's got an attitude, and he thinks he's hip. And folks, and some of you will agree with me, I'm not a prude, right? You want to go drink and smoke dope. I have a feeling every now and then, and you can see, by the way, Billy Joel is smoking a cigar. It's not outwardly obvious, but it's not marijuana. And I've heard it a million times from Bill Maher. All right, we know you like to smoke marijuana. We know you like to have a rather large adult cocktail. I got to hear this every fucking time. I like dope. Well, great, Bill Maher, you like dope. Do we have to hear it or reference it every other fucking 5 minutes? And you could tell he skimmed, folks. He skimmed the documentary. He says to Billy Joel, I saw your documentary. It was great. Nobody who saw the whole thing says it's great. It could be anything you say. Read your book. It's great. You make notes. You don't be like Larry King, who I love dearly, right? Rest in peace, Larry. Larry was notorious. He didn't want to do his research. Why? Remember, you say, I don't read the book. I want to be just as careful. Bullshit. Larry didn't want to read the book because Larry didn't want to do any work. And guess what? Larry could get away with it. He was very good. Those of you who watch Larry King, who I got to know very, very well too. I'm looking over here just to see. By the way, you guys, hi, Pam, my manager, my would-be. Yeah. Hi, Rich. Hi, Pam. Hello, Emily. Emily. I know, Emily, I was late too. Emily, for God's sake, call me. I've got to get you won a prize the other night, and I didn't want to say right away. I owe you a box of Neapolitan ice cream sandwiches because you did something you don't even know about. That's number one. Number two, I think you're kind of cute. Can I say that, Emily? All right. I'm not looking, well, I am, but I'm not kind of like auditioning. But if you like neurotic 60-something Jewish guys, I'm getting this buzz because it's this kind of a buzz too. Okay. God, it tastes crappy when it's at room temperature. Oh God. Sound effects. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I'll get back to Maher in a second. But Emily, do me a favor. This could be something. This could be like, what was the movie When Harry Met Sally, which, by the way, they released that same movie in San Francisco. It was called When Harry Met Harry. Okay. Bad joke. All right. Let's see here. Pam Arnold. Hello. Okay. God, everybody's in a hello mood. Emily Dugan. All right. I'm with Dave Neal. Posse too. This is Emily. Oh, Emily Dugan. Well, that's all right. Dave said he was going to be looking for a woman for me, preferably one that can see and is not blind, and that can speak English. But Pam, get in touch with me later, okay? Because I have to talk to you about something, okay? It's very, very intimate, okay? I'm going to do my best impression of Dr. Phil and get very intimate on the phone, though. I'm not going to do it live in person just yet because no. But seriously, Emily Dugan, I hope that's not like that emoji on your Twitter or your whatever. That is actually because you remind me of somebody like in a Woody Allen movie, who is I'm very didactic and I do movies. And even though I'm about 98 right now and I'm still, with my daughter, we had a kid, but people still don't like me. Okay, that's my Woody Allen. So I'll get back to Bill Maher in a second. There's 5 people. There's more than 5 people now, right? So we got Arnold, Pam Arnold. Hello. Hi. Oh, okay. She's saying hi. Emily. Hey, everyone. Okay. So Emily, just get in contact with me. I gave you my contact number and do that. Okay. What was I talking about? And I'll get to the date of the Dave, the Ron Owens thing and all that, and Laura and all that. I didn't have a chance to peruse the documents today, but I will. I'll try to, and I'll give you an update on that too. Oh yeah, so I'm talking about Billy Joel. So this Billy Joel interview with Bill Maher, and he has this show called Cafe Random, something like that, or Cafe, whatever it is. It's on YouTube. And it's just a really lousy interview. And you see Maher with the aforementioned, big cocktail glass with, it's probably like some kind of whiskey or I don't know. It's a brown whiskey. So that's it. And I don't think he's doing it for, showman. In other words, a fake, I think he's doing it. And he's got the cigarette out, which I think is like a cloak cigarette, which, by the way, the most annoying fucking thing, sorry about my French, on the planet are cloak cigarettes. Now, look, if you're going to smoke, smoke. But don't fucking smoke cloak cigarettes. Otherwise, in my world, you will get the James Caan treatment. Hey, I could have been a contender. I'm just doing a random, Don't smoke cloak. Who did that? That was, I think, Yul Brynner. Do you remember the ads? The public service announcement. I'm Yul Brynner. I'm dead right now because I smoked. Don't smoke. Remember those ads? Okay. But what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So Bill Maher, and we have to hear every 5 minutes that he smokes marijuana. Shocking. Like we didn't hear it 5 minutes earlier. Now, look, I have a tendency, folks, to repeat myself every now and then. It's a Jew tendency. I don't know what it is, where it came from, but consequently, I haven't had a real date for about 10 years because most women, they look at me and go, no. Look, I love women. Women love me. No, a lot of women think I'm taken, and they recognize my sexual prowess and my love and my hand. Hello, welcome to Masterpiece Theater. What was this? Remember the Addams Family? Remember the thing? Remember? Yeah, the hand. Look at that hand. Oh my God, warts and everything. But most women actually like the sort of the shy appearance that I have, right? They like the glasses, and they want to basically do the hokey pokey with me, and I've had to ward off many women who have escaped various, incarceration factories and all that because they were put on a mission from God and all that. Now, I'm too old, and I don't say that mocking my age or anything like that. Look, I am a heterosexual, okay, and I'm willing to prove it. No, but I pretty much have given up on meeting somebody. I don't want to, meet somebody when I'm like, hey, young lady, come over to my lawn and let's have some syrup. I'm going to cook you some burgers. I would like to meet a woman If I could meet a woman. If I could meet a woman, the magic. Okay. No, you know what I mean. I'm not always like this. I'm actually very controlled. I'm very, preordained, which is unusual being that I'm Jewish, but I'm not a practicing Jew, right? I was bar mitzvah and all that, but I'm very, very, shall we say, Gentile-ish in other areas. I tip when I have no tip. Ha ha ha. But I do, that's why, what a stereotype about the Jews, right? Here we are. Well, those Jews, they're cheap. No, we're not. I ain't. I love this. I think I brought this up a couple of days ago too. Hello, everybody. Look at this. My God. The room is filling up. What is it you hear about Jews? That we're good with money. These are all stereotypes, right? Good with money, good with real estate, except for the fact of where we picked our homeland, right? That could have been a little bit better than where it is now, though it's a beautiful, beautiful country, Israel. That area, the Mediterranean coast, and you have the beautiful, the Red Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. I'm going to give you guys a tip. I know this firsthand, okay? Everybody likes pizza, right? Can we agree on that? Everybody likes, unless you're a vegetarian and they have, veggie pizzas and all that, which is kind of ridiculous in my book, but whatever. Everybody loves pizza. Do you know where you get the best pizza in the world? And I'm not talking about, your neighborhood, New York, obviously, which I have a side story about. I might as well just tell it. Then I'll get back to the New York, or where you get the best pizza in the world. New York pizza, not in Manhattan, although it's fine, right? You're not going to go wrong. Go to Staten Island, and you go to one of those strip malls, right? If you go like right now, where it could be really, really basic looking strip mall, and you find the pizza place. Let's just pick a name. Mario's, okay? Strip mall. This is where you get really good pizza, folks. I'm giving you a free tip here. And you walk in, and there's like guys, Italian guys, named Mario and Piglione and Carmine, right? And it's a very basic looking. I'm just giving you a description of what it could be, but this is where you get really good pizza. And where the guys have the the what do you call those, the shirt, what do you call it, a tank top, and they have a cross around their neck, and they look really Italian-y, and they're making the pizzas, right? That's good pizza. Staten Island strip mall. Okay, you go to, it's a very, very what's the word? It's a very basic kind of a place. You will love the pizza because it's made by these guys. That's all they do. They make pizza, and they have their grandmother's or their mother's recipes. And it's usually one, and people ask me, where do you go to get pizza, good pizza in New York? As I said, you can go to Manhattan. Obviously, it's the city, but tall buildings, culture, it's open all the night. If you want real McCoy pizza, you go to one of the boroughs like Staten Island, and you go to a strip mall, and they have that good, crusty, soury, delicious, the pizza that has that crusty taste and the cheese, and they call it a pie. Now you could get, it sounds like I'm doing a commercial for pizzas, which I'm not. But I was off on a tangent. Oh yeah. Oh, the international place. Where do you get great pizza? In all places, Tel Aviv. Why? Because a lot of the Italian chefs, they migrate and they go to Israel. And if people do a Google search where it says images, type in Tel Aviv, Israel. It is like you're looking at Manhattan and the tall buildings and all that. And occasionally there's, a few bombs that go overhead, but that's gone. And, now everything is relatively normal and safe. But go to Tel Aviv, and if you want good pizza, oh my, a lot of the Italian chefs end up in Tel Aviv. It's just a plain fact. I'm not saying that because I have any kind of bias nor special interest. But all right, women, before I get back to Bill Maher, what do you think of this look? Now, do I look kind of I didn't shave, okay? And not because I'm lazy, which I am though, but The gruff look. By a sea of hands, Emily included. Uh, Emily's saying also my profile picture is old, but thank you. Well, you're still hot. You have that New York look, Emily, like that sort of, Woody Allen damsel in distress woman in like an old Woody Allen movie who's like reading books and walking around Brooklyn and sits down and talks to a man like, 30 years older and, ends up going home with him and they talk about daffodils and wake up the next day and drink coffee and that's a movie, right? Which, by the way, I think I just made a movie for Woody Allen. That's the kind of movie that he does. Right now, he's like 99. Let me read some of the hilarious about the breathalyzer lock on. Oh, Gingras. We're talking about Gingras. I think he's from this area too, right? David Gingras, the lawyer. Might Rune. Okay, I'm not talking about his Mercedes and all that. All right, Emily. Laura. Okay, you guys are talking about Laura and all. Can I just say something again? I'm going to get back to Bill Maher. And I might do a show about this, but, I'm in a catch-22 mode, folks. I know Ron very well, not anymore, probably because he's pissed at me because I began talking about this again. People said that I ignored the story, just like the majority of I'm having everything hits me now all at once. Headaches went away. I take aspirin, probably going to affect me. I wear these to look somewhat presentable. What was I talking about? The look I asked about. Do you like this kind of? I'm not going to do beards. I don't like beards. Never did. They just kind of, to me, it's like this image of guys in the Midwest who have these big. They call them winter beards, right? Where they wear this big, looks like a mouse trap on their face, the big heavy duty bushing and all. It's just never done anything. But I do like this kind of there are certain men that get away with it. Like, who are the guys, gentlemen here, who have the kind of the Skid Row look, but it looks hot on them and they can get away with it and all that. I have like this kind of, and I left it alone because I figured, I was too lazy to, right? And I don't use an electric shaver. I have one. I don't use it because it doesn't, that the ad, remember that ad, shapes as close as a blade or your money back? That was all bullshit too. So I don't do the razor anymore, the electric razor, because you got to end up, when you're done doing your shave, you've got to throw away the old beard and all that, or the beard flakes and all that. So anyway, I decided to do this and try it out. Why am I doing this? I have no idea. Okay. So women, I like the shaved look. Emily, for you, anything. That's my Larry King impression. Emily Dugan, we go to Schenectady, New York. You're on with Larry King. It's 3 a.m. I'm Larry King. What's your question? Right. Some people got that. Some people didn't. So back to what I was talking. All right, I did cover the pizza. I covered this. Oh, yeah. So the Bill Maher thing. So I'm a big Billy Joel fan, folks. I've seen him 30 times. I was bummed because I wanted to see him out here. I saw him in Madison Square Garden one time about 4 years ago, which I talked about. And when the news came out that he had the thing with the brain, and he said it himself on this interview with Maher, that, and then there's a big documentary on HBO, which I highly recommend, and that kind of a thing. Very, very fantastic. I mean, the editing is great. The interviews. You don't have to be a Billy Joel aficionado to appreciate this program. So if you get HBO, watch it. If not, I think you can see portions of it here on YouTube. But back to my deal. So incredible performer, right? And he's had issues in life like we all do, not maybe as profound as this issue. And, he talked, I'll give credit to Maher for this. He asked him how he's doing and that kind of thing. But, the way he did it was cool. And Billy Joel was, he said, I'm doing fine. My balance is a little weird, but I feel fine. And maybe there's hope. There's hope. We obviously want him to get better. Well, not all of us, but most of us. and then he can somehow figure out a way to perform again because he is a great performer. There are artists and there are people who are fantastic artists, but they don't know how to perform, right? You can have an average singer, and a lot of you will agree with me on this. An average singer, but they're a magnificent performer. That's why Barbara Streisand, for those of you, she had a great voice. She's 82 now. I don't think she performs anymore. She didn't perform many years. Why? Because she was absolutely timid and nervous on stage, right? Remember, and they still do this, but not, in those days. They have the karaoke box, and most performers still, not as big as, they used to, but a lot of them, a lot of them didn't write their songs. They performed it, and they need the karaoke box, which you'll notice if you watch concerts. They have that there because a lot of these performers, they don't know the lyrics. And I'm not putting them down. That's just the way it is. Barbara Streisand didn't know that. She was also very timid. She could not perform on stage. Now, she eventually got it together where, excuse me here for a minute, okay, where she got it and she started performing again. My sisters and I got my mom, may she rest in peace, about 30 years ago. My mom was 70, and we got her, and then my sisters took her to Vegas to see who performed at the MGM Grand, Barbara Streisand and Frank Sinatra together. And they played at the main ballroom there, right? Folks, I have no idea what this is. It's just annoying me, and forgive me, it's like an itch, an eternal itch. And I think it's God trying to screw with me and give me this itchy nose thing, which I keep, anyway, sorry. But anyway, so we got my mom, and my sisters went all out. My sister's in the travel business, and the other one is stationed out of Vegas. So they got her they took her, my mother, to see Barbara Streisand, Sinatra at the MGM Grand, and they were like fifth row center. They sat next to, guess who? Remember Mike Myers? I Married an Axe Murderer. He used to be on Saturday Night Live. He was in, So I Married an Axe Murderer. He was there. And remember Clinton's mother, or was it Hillary's mother? Hillary Clinton's mother sat right near where my mom and my, the oldest two sisters and their husbands were. So anyway, but Streisand doesn't, well, she's 82. I think she still does little private gigs and all that. But for a while, she didn't perform because she couldn't perform. Great singer, arguably one of the greatest voices, right? Streisand. Well, back to Billy Joel. Billy Joel, and those of you who have seen Billy Joel, you know what I'm talking about. Can perform, can sing, and he's had issues in life, and there'll be a book and all that. And of course, he was married to Christy Brinkley and all that, the story, right? And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, back to the interview with Marr. So you could just tell that the Marr interview with Billy Joel, you could see that Billy Joel is very annoyed at Bill Marr. He's got the alcohol and the cloak cigarette, which again, I think you should be deported to, far off, Siberia if you smoke a cloak cigarette. That is like absolute torture. And for the life of me, why don't you go ahead, Bill? You talk about dope every 5 minutes, right, folks? Anyway, it was a shitty interview, and Billy Joel did it because, he's promoting his documentary and all that. And, he's a professional. But you could tell if you watch this interview, he's very annoyed. And Marr, I don't like Bill Marr. I've said that a little while back. I said it now. I acknowledge, and this I want to make clear, he's very successful, does a great show on HBO because he's got writers. Hello, they all have writers, Rich. I know that. But in this instance, he's got that kind of attitude, and the jokes that he does, they're well-crafted writers. and he does the, the new rules and all that stuff. And when he's doing the interviews with the panel, which by the way, somebody wanted me to get on that show, and I would have loved to do. I still would. I don't think he's going to have me on the show now, but fuck it. I don't do shows, or excuse me, I don't kiss ass so I can get on a show. It would be great. It'd be awesome because a lot of people watch that show, even HBO and all that. But I can't stand the guy. And not because of every minute, like, I smoked dope. I smoked good. Congrats. We didn't know that. Why don't you tell us again in 5 minutes in case we didn't hear it? And the whole attitude, he just looks like a real prick. And he is. I'm just telling you folks from inside. I know a lot of comedians, and they tell me this and all that. So that's one thing I wanted to address. I'm going to give out my phone number, guys. And look, if you want to talk about Laura and Ron, if you want to ask me questions about growing up and, Ron Owens and all that. I never met his daughter. I knew she was around, but I never met either of the daughters. But and this never, ever would ever enter my cranium up here that this could happen. So when I keep saying I can't believe this, not that she couldn't be a bad apple, who knows, right? There's some really sordid accusations and all that. So, and I know she's got this other case coming up in October and all that. So, did Emily just? Oh, I like the shave look. Well, Emily, after you call me and we, get this thing situated, I will. Folks, I'm trying to get her to call me, so don't tell her. But I do owe her a box. It's not a box; it's a cart. What do they call like a ice cream sandwiches? And it's not a box. It's not a carton. It's a package. Good, Rich. Rich is learning basic English. Package. The password is package. So I owe you a Neapolitan. Let's see. I'm taken. I'm a taken lady, Rich. Sorry. Well, do this, Emily. Call you're taken. That was a movie with Liam Neeson, right? Or what was his name? The one that's screwing around with Pamela Anderson. Liam, what is his name? Taken. Okay. I don't see a ring on. Okay. Well, I'm talking. I don't want to elope with you, Emily. I want to talk, and I got to mail you these box or carton or whatever the hell package of Neapolitan ice creams. Why did Natasha's? Oh yeah, we have somebody that's asking me a media question. Is that Milana, Makmana? Why did Natasha Zulis leave KGO? She's doing a good job, and there's a lot of stuff behind that. I think she was just, it was something having to do with the business, and she wasn't gaining any kind of future there where she was going to be eventually a primetime anchor. So I think that's the reason why she left. All right. Let's see, Emily. I want to talk true crime with you. Well, we'll talk. I'm not looking to get married. Okay. I really am not. In fact, when I was younger, people warned me about getting, but look, if you want to have a family and kids, garage and, a place away, in my case, from the penitentiary, then you get married. Okay. But I go by there was a comedian named Jackie Mason who used to talk like this. And it was on Johnny Carson. And Johnny Carson said, Jackie, you were never married in your life. And that was my Johnny Carson impression. To which Jackie Mason, this famous comedian, who had this hair, and he was a famous comedian. He came out of the Catskills in New York, and he used to talk like this. I'm Jackie Mason. And he told Johnny, he says, Johnny, why would I get married? What, to make love? Maybe. To give a woman, what? I'm going to give her half of what I, in case I want to leave, she gets half of what I want. What? Why would I get married? Something like that. I laughed. And Carson laughed. God knows Carson laughed. He was married, 7, 8 times? Little known trivia here, as long as I brought up Carson. All of his wives, listen to me now, had the initials J A. True story. Look that up. So, that, until the very end, I think, when he married, he did get married. Like, same thing with Larry King. These guys, these men, they feel positively naked if they don't get married. It's this weird, well, I say weird from my standpoint. But growing up as I did, away from San Quentin, where I was held, I'm kidding. But where I was, I loved, that was my problem, is I loved too many women. And I had to, edit, personal edit. And the woman that I really loved, who I met about 20 years ago, right around 04, 05, she was a chain smoker. Cigarettes, which I just cannot stand. Great. She was like 10 years younger than me. Gorgeous, funny, sense of humor, had all of her teeth and vision. Didn't come up to me and go, ah! Yeah, my opening line to women was, don't scream. But anyway, she was great. But I was fearful. And again, the cigarettes, I just, I can't operate with cigarettes. And that wasn't the reason why, we broke up. We broke up because she finally said, oh my God, he's sickening. But no, in all seriousness. So, I'm at an age now where I just need proverbial. Like, this is what I'm going to be very selfish. And we'll get back to Laura. Oh, don't worry. Promise. By the way, is Laura Owens, she is so thin right now. I mean, she looks like Karen Carpenter, for God's sakes. It's getting to be, some of you, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't joke about bulimia and all that. It's a bad thing. So I'm sorry. Recant that, redact that, and all that. But she just doesn't look right. And I'm not being a psychiatrist. I don't mean about what's up here and all. If you knew Ron like I did, the farthest thing from the truth, you could not envision this whatsoever. I know they had horses. They have horses. And he was very much involved in horses. He used to love the racetracks. And he told me, by the way, he hasn't gambled. This is when I spoke to him about 6 weeks ago. For 20 years. I believe him on that, because that would have come out and all that. I just think he's fiscally irresponsible, and this case came about, and which accelerated the bankruptcy. And look, the guy likes Louis Vuitton briefcases and other things. And when you're making 1.7 million a year, 20,000 a month, while it's great, it's not 1.7 million a year. So, they had the big house in San Francisco and Seacliff. They had to get rid of that. And then they went to Scottsdale, Arizona, which is not it's not a bad, it's an upscale place in Phoenix. But you go from that to, it's not, one of these fixer-uppers. It's still a $1.5 million house in Scottsdale. And this was right around the time, not the purchase of the house. But I've discovered some things which I've told various people, and this is public now, so I'm not talking behind anybody's back. As a matter of fact, folks, I asked both Ron and Jan Black to do my show. Now, not for the ego, well, of course, we're all ego. We bullshit if you know those things. It's not ego. I wanted to get to I know he can't talk about his daughter's case. Of course he can't. I wanted to talk about how this is hurting him, how it's having an impact on their mental state. I don't mean, incorrigible, but that's what I wanted to talk about. He agreed to do it. And I asked him twice, I'll do it. And then, out of the blue, he says he can't because his lawyer, one of their lawyers, said, don't talk. You can't talk. So look, some of you people, not you people, have said, I'm sympathetic. I'm too sympathetic. It's a catch-22. Then there are those who said I'm sucking up, and then I'm not sucking up. If I don't, I'm like damned if you do. I'm fucked either way, right? Where I'm going to be accused no matter what. So I'm going to give you my official stance here is I just want the truth to come out. I don't say that with any kind of righteousness. I want the truth. Well, everybody wants the truth to come out, but they are parents. I keep repeating that. I'm not a parent, at least that I know of, but so they're going to defend their daughter, even though she appears to have been up to no good. The lawyers, the judge, jury, what have you, will figure that out, right? So I'm just letting you all know. I'm trying to do is to be objective, is to not show any kind of bias either way. The more I know lately, I'm very suspicious of the money. Where's the money? The GoFundMe, the bankruptcy. Look, a lot of famous people, lots of not famous people have declared bankruptcy. We all have our fiscal, shall we say, flaws. Some of us do, some of us do not. You combine that with the fact of the daughter's travails and all that, and I can see this. But on the other hand, there's some questionable activity. And look, I'm not here to cast aspersions, but I myself, which is one of the reasons why it got me into the position in this subject matter, I became suspicious. And look, ultimately, the Laura Owens case will be decided by a jury of her peers, and then we can all move on, right? And look, I just wish that this thing, I know a lot of you women have told me, mostly women too. She's done some nasty things, allegedly. Some of them, they're obvious, but the court of law and all that stuff, it still has to be proven beyond, all that stuff. So if you only knew how Ron grew up in terms of his formative years, in his 30s when he came to the Bay Area. And I got to know him. We became buddies. And, I was at his wedding with Jan. I was there when he met Jan at the circus, of all places. How's that for a metaphor? Way back in 1976, he met her at the circus at the Oakland Arena across the bay. And they were doing a promotion and all that. So this is kind of it's a real, head scratcher for me and all that. And I've said as much. And sometimes I look at these shows that I've done with Dave. By the way, Dave is a real mensch, good guy. And what's the other woman's name? Oh yeah, Lauren Knighty. Lauren, a couple of things too. As long as you're out there, I'll assume watching, I hope. Tell somebody, if any of you know Lauren, I don't dislike Taylor Swift. What is she worth now? $5 billion a country. It's just that we didn't need to know the news as much as we heard the news on Wednesday when she decided to announce that she's getting married to her future ex-husband, the football player. Combine that with or juxtaposition of what took place in Minnesota the following day, right, on Thursday, which unfortunately, this is America. We're more interested in shit like that. And we have this horrific event that takes place in Minneapolis. Obviously, they're just two entirely different matters. So I talked about Taylor Swift, and then I talked about something. Oh yeah, I was talking about booze for some reason, and how most stupid men are stupid because if they order a drink like Jack Daniels and they say, I'd like a Jack and Coke, that is the most moronic thing you can do, is to order a premium blend of alcohol with Coke. Why fuck up the taste of Jack Daniels with Coca-Cola? That's all I said, and she commented on that, I think. All right, let's go to the video room and see who's out there. All right, Emily. So Emily, and by the way, if you met me, Emily, you might leave your boyfriend or whomever or girlfriend, whatever. I don't know these days. So, where is Emily? I'm a taken lady. Yeah, we know that. Okay. Let's see. Loenza. Let's see, Emily. Let's see. Go back to Emily. Emily, I want to talk true crime. I got that. It's speculated Jan never really worked. No, she worked in radio. I was in radio. Or influenced or inflated her resume. What do you think? I can say this categorically, Emily. She worked at a radio station literally across the street. It was KCBS. It's still around today. although they were a shitty station, but she did anchoring for both KGO, where Ron worked, and KCBS. So no, there's no mystery about that. I used to hear it, great voice, and yeah, they met. He was working at KGO, and she at the time was at KGO. She later went to KCBS. No, for a fact she was on the air. No, that's all bullshit. So I hope I got that right. Who's this? McKenna. Oh yeah, I answered your question about. Oh yeah, somebody else had a question. Is this McKenna again? No, R6. Is Dion Lim still? No, she's not with ABC7. She left in early April when her contract was up, and I have no idea. Some of you people said, "Who the hell are these people?" They're San Francisco media people, reporters, anchors, in the once formidable San Francisco market. So no, she's been gone and she's away. Another Dion Lindquist is Dion. No, she's not. Let's see. Good to know. It's crazy that she has a mental health. I know. With her daughter. At the time, she's been doing this podcast with Laura, and you know the rest. Let's see. Let me go here. Do you guys have any questions about me and not my prison when I was put in prison for many years? I don't want to talk about that. I have nothing to say. Call my lawyer and he'll talk to you. No, I'm kidding. Was never in prison. Well, maybe one time. I was dreaming. Let's see here. She's been enabling Laura. Well, look, when you're a parent and you have your daughter, and even if there's some really wacky things, I'm just answering this as we're answering, speculating. You will defend your children, okay? Your kids. It's like I've said this a million times. I can't imagine what they're going through. So if they said it with, and they don't have to say it literally, that look, we had issues come up in our life. We being Ron and Jan, and they can't say their daughter's issues, obviously, but just something where you kind of refer to it. We've had some family matters. That's generic enough. You can't use that in a court of law. And they always tell you, attorneys, stay silent, which I understand from a legal point, that kind of thing. So I'll defend them there. But they can clear a lot of this shit up by going on a show like mine. And so I want you to all to know, I'm not trying to in any way, shape, or form defend Ron and Jan. I've done quite the contrary. I've been accusatory now lately. I'm not fucking with them because they promised something, and I'm going to go off and bitch about them and rip them because they didn't appear on the show. Quite the contrary. I've said it. So I want you all to know I'm trying to do the best that I can. And, again, you're going to get vilified no matter what. Then there's people that thought that I was silenced and I took hush money, which is complete, utter bullshit. I even told people, if you want to look at my records, go ahead. Make my, that was my Clint Eastwood line. Go ahead. Make my day. What movie was that from? Quick. Nobody looks on Google. Okay. Let's see. But this is Emily again. But she told the cops Dave was, I know, was bullying Laura. I know. There's been a lot of that stuff. So, all right. So my phone number to text or to write, I'll give you all the. I want all of you, please become a subscriber on my channel. Now that YouTube loves me because they sent me this whole instruction, all that. If any of you, I rely and I exist on donations. So if you feel generous, if you want, I'm going to be doing a lot of these comedy shows. Hopefully I'll be funny. And, I know a lot of people are home for the weekend because of the holiday and Labor Day. A lot of people don't want to go out because there's a lot of alcohol and mayhem and people drinking and a lot of shit that nobody needs, myself included. So a lot of you are home. Maybe you're watching movies, you're watching YouTube. And I'm new to the YouTube crowd. So I appreciate you guys coming into my life. Most of you, some of you are, crazy. Not this crowd, but I've had people. Rich, ever had turtles stuffed up your ass? No, I haven't. And they're crazy people. So what am I going to do? Richard Gere, on the other hand, might have experienced that. No, his was gerbils, right? Richard Gere. So, but most of you have been very supportive, and that's how I exist. I'm not starving, but I would love to continue to do this and keep you occupied, um, and give you some degree of entertainment. Dare I say? Because I'm an up and coming artist, formerly known as not Prince but Rich, right? With the crazy, yeah. Uh, so no, I look and well, let me give you out the this vital statistics. All right. If you want to text me or call 415-999-4454. Once again, area code 415-999-4454. You can text, you can call. My email address is rich, R-I-C-H, lowercase, dot Lieberman, Lieberman, at gmail.com. You can, again, please, folks, and this is very important, go to my YouTube. Well, you're on YouTube, you're on my channel. Become a subscriber. That's very important. That's literally whether or not I have sex later on. Is if you vote for me and you become a subscriber, that could mean Rich doing the Humpty Hump later on with this girl that I met. Her name was Felicia, and she told me that she was a dedicated heterosexual woman until she met me, and now she's a lesbian. Go figure. Now, look, I have nothing against lesbians. I'm rather progressive, but I become more conservative. When you get older in life, you become more conservative. They say when you own property that, you have to pay taxes, and I'm really kind of down that road now. There are things that I champion that I have very hardened opinions on certain things, which if you come into my life and aren't forced, right? There are things that I like, things that I dislike. Food. Now, I mentioned pizza. That's a universally pretty much beloved thing, right? Now, this is an East Coast thing. Now, I spent a lot of time in New York. I was born on the West Coast. My mother, rest in peace, mom, was born in Brooklyn. And I have three older, well, now it's two because I lost my brother. And I lost my mother about 6 years ago. My mom, you guys would have loved meeting my mom. I know that everybody's mother is special, and they are. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So this is going to repulse you, but damn it, is it good. There is a specialty. It's called tongue, beef tongue. It's the cow's tongue. And, you first say, ooh, no, it's delicious. And you cook it for like 4 hours. In fact, go on YouTube and do cooked tongue. Folks, this tastes so good. It is so good. And, you take it cold after it's been, cooked. So I like tongue, beef tongue. You say, oh, you're eating a dead cow's tongue. Well, you're eating a dead cow no matter, if you eat meat. Just this is a part of the body that, Anyway, try it. It's fantastic. I don't want giving out, clues about my, edibles. So I like that. I don't really care for beef liver. I do like chicken liver. I know that my mother used to love beef liver. Speaking of mom again, it was supposed to be good for your heart. It's got some enzyme that goes to your heart and that kind of a thing. Those of you that know about that, let's see. I'm going to go here. Do this crime story with me. You talking to me? Oh, Emily, we'll talk after I get out of here, and you can ask me anything. And I know you're taken. Don't worry. Okay. You probably well. I'll leave that for later. What else was I going to say? So I like ginger ale. It's the most refreshing drink on the planet. I ran out. I get the zero sugar. Some of you say, who the fuck cares that you like ginger ale? All right. I'm trying to be funny here. I do not eat certain things. I cannot stand parsley. I know it's like I'm used as a varnish and all that. So, but ooh, and other stuff. I generally like all vegetables, right? Broccoli, chard. Again, why I went down this road, no idea at all. I do impressions. Like anybody out there have any kind of impression? Let's see. Just wondering. Kyla Grogan will. She's been with Cron. Yeah. Oh, Kyla Grogan. A very popular woman at KRON, which is an independent station here. You hate alfalfa. Oh, you've seen that. It's just too Berkeley-ish for me. It's okay on a sandwich, I guess. If you have it solo, yes, I don't like it. You want to put it on, with cream cheese or something, or it's a little too, it's a little too weird for my taste. Alfalfa. Good character from the three, what was it called? The one that played alfalfa. Let's see here. Jason, is that Jason Remington? Oh my God, Jason, is that you? The guy up in Seattle who did a real big article on me. Is that you, Jason? ID yourself. Emily is being ignored while Rich knows his grocery list. Thank you. It's not my grocery. Yeah, Jason. Jason, for you only, okay? And Emily, I'll get to you in a second. No, she's not alone. I've been referring to her the last 10 minutes, Jason. Jason, look, Jason, I got to talk to you, man. You got to do another piece. And obviously, you can see, I don't know what brought, oh, yeah, you probably saw my plug and all that. But the Bay Area is turning on me again because they have the audacity to call them out. And they're all fucked up. And they're all a bunch of assholes. And I called out Dan Ashley, even though he's not from Seattle and all that. But they're mercenaries. And they have these verschlunkens now, these amateur people. So contact, you have my email address. Send me the number. We have to talk. I'll buy you a Starbucks. You've been very generous with me and all that. But now, look, Jason, see, look at this. I have retail now. I've got, see the Howard Stern poster and all that. It's getting to be quite popular here. And I'm ripping Bill Maher. Geez, that's a good career move. I can't stand the guy. See, that's one of the things that I am proud of. I'm not going to suck and bullshit. Oh, he's a marvel. I already said he's cool, does a great show. I watched the show, but he's an asshole, folks. Just the way he looks, the way he acts. The Billy Joel interview, which you could see Billy Joel's like, fuck you, but he didn't say that. He did the interview and all that. And, Mars just a complete and utter jerk. And some of you already told the story. I know certain things and all that. So, okay, what else do we got here? Emily. So I don't know. Do you guys want me to go now? I'm kind of, my voice is getting ready to. Yes. Okay. No, we don't. So what I had announced earlier, and I'm going to repeat this, and then we can all go, watch whatever we're going to watch or do whatever we're going to do. I want you to become a subscriber on my YouTube because that's very important. Because in order to make cash, I need you. No, I'm kidding. I'm not really kidding. And I do a visual blog on YouTube. I just started this comedy business. I'm becoming quite a very, very prominent woman that I am. Okay. Look, how much did it cost you to get in here? Okay. Oh, Emily. Oh. It all started with a simple YouTube show. Rich was obviously impressed with Emily. As an aside to Jason, he brought up a rather sordid matter, but really he was focused on Emily. Emily had that look, that girl in the next door, but she had glasses on. Rich tried his best to. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I had a request. All right. Jason, are you still there? Emily, I'm going to do my Keith Morrison. Now, Keith Morrison is the correspondent with the weird sort of loving and liking of crazy people who end up doing very inhospitable things for which they spend a lot of time in prison if they're not outright executed. All right, Jason, you will like this, I think. Emily, we'll see. So Keith Morrison, he is the correspondent on Dateline, and he gets on these crazy, like I said. So I'm going to do, this is me doing Keith Morrison, okay? And you can go on later on. You can like this, you can love it, you can hate it, but I think you'll like it, okay? So this is Rich Lieberman, totally off the top of my head, doing Keith Morrison in one of his insane stories, okay? We're going to start a true crime. Okay, I know. Just hear me out on this, and we'll talk pretty soon, all right, Emily? Keith Morrison, NBC Dateline. 3, 2, 1. Jimmy P. was a sordid man, but not this night. He was a very, very cool, calm, and collected guy. He was a postal worker, 20 years at the post office, lived with his mother in a little shack in Manhattan, Kansas. One night, Jimmy B lost it and took his parents out to dinner, and then soon, when they weren't looking, took a picket and chopped them in pieces and killed them. I had a chance to talk to Jimmy and asked him what made him do such a heinous thing on a beautiful night with a son that they regarded as a true cool son. This is what he had to say. Jimmy, why did you kill your parents, number one? What made you do such a terrible thing? Well, I just wanted to do it. I got angry at them because they said something negative about me to my friends, and I hated them for that. Yeah, but you killed them. You took a picket and hit them in the face and poked your mother's eyes out. And you killed both of them. Why'd you do it? Well, Keith, not only did I do that, I chopped them up and put half of their bodies in a refrigerator. You did? Sounds pretty wicked. What else did you do? Well, I took their eyeballs and put them in a little kettle and poured them with my tea so it'd be real sticky and gooey. Did it get kind of ugly, Jimmy B? Well, yeah, it did. I mean, Jimmy, you could have just went and shot them or murdered them and, not tortured them. What made you do what you do? Well, I just didn't like them. They pissed me off one night and I overreacted, but I didn't want them to get away with it. They really, really unnerved me. Well, what else did you do with the bodies? Half the bodies. Well, I threw them out to the dogs and the dogs ate them up. It's getting kind of gooey now, Jimmy. And now you're in prison. What do you think about that? Well, most of the prisoners don't like me, but that's why they put me in this shack. But Jimmy, do you have any regrets for chopping up your mother and poking her eyes out and, using them as fodder for your tea? No. Well, what did you do with your dad? You talked about your mother poking her eyes out. Well, took my dad out, took a picket and chopped him in the stomach and all of his gut. Sounds kind of gooey again. All right, that's my Keith Morrison. You like that? Off the top of my head, I'm a hard-working fucking comic, for God's sakes. How much it cost you to get in the place? All right, Molly Dugan. Gooey. Yes. Well, those of you who know who Keith Morrison is, you will laugh. Those of you who don't, as I continue to rub my, this is weird. And before anybody says any, I don't do drugs, okay? The only drug I used to do was every now and then a martini or a cold beer. I don't drink anymore. Not to be, righteous and all that. I just don't like the taste of alcohol. That's the only thing I have in common with Michael Jordan. Doesn't like alcohol. When he drinks his drink, when he's gambling $1 million, which he can afford, he likes to sip a little, I don't know, ginger ale. Speaking of ginger ale, and any of it. All right, before I get out of here, yeah. Jason, you know who he is then. Jason, you got to call me, okay? You have my number, but after I talk to Emily, I'll send you an email in case you forgot my number. So who am I looking here? All right, look, folks, again, before I go, I will be here again, if all goes well, as Jim Eason, another SF radio legend who has expired, though. I will make this a regular thing. I'm getting all this notoriety and doing all these shows, for which I am profoundly grateful to be in your house and to do some good, okay. A little sorted. I'm so happy to be in your house, and you've given me and granted me the very, very lovely invitation to be in your lives, whether you like it or not. But I plan on doing this more often if I get support. I rely on you. You guys are my advertisers, or not. Okay, and I'm not saying send me $100,000, which would be nice though. Anything. Because I rely on that. I'm not influenced or bought by corporate interests or have you. That's been my theme when I was doing the San Francisco. Jason, you can attest to that. And now I have sort of become this YouTube star. Oh yeah, sure thing. No, but I whatever, they're telling me I'm big. What was that? Okay. I have no idea what I'm doing now. Oh yeah. So I tend to make this a part of my requiem. Okay. And if you would like, please, 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 please subscribe to my channel. I gave you my text number, 415-999-4454. If you want to email me ideas, suggestions, penitentiaries, where I could go possibly to learn life, it is rich.lieberman@gmail.com, RICH.Lieberman, LIEBERMAN @gmail.com. Yes, the rumors are true. I am related to the late Martin Landau, who was a fixture on, yes, Mission Impossible, the TV show, the real show, distant cousin. The rumors are true. They're not rumors, they're facts. What else? What else we got going? Oh, so tomorrow, Saturday night live. And no, I'm not part of SNL. And I'm glad they're getting rid of a whole lot of people because the show isn't funny anymore. Okay? So they could do better. Lorne Michaels, God bless you. You're firing people. They're not funny. Thank God. That show, talk about editing. It needs to be cleansed, shall we say. All right. I don't drink either. Good. Emily, for a woman who is supposedly taken, you are like very, what's the favorite color? Mine is black. Okay. And blue. Jason, let's see. Bill Hader. Yeah, Bill Hader. Got to interview Bill Hader. He played in San Francisco. And yes, he does a great with the hair. And he does, I know Bill Hader does. I wish I could do half of his impressions. Fantastic. That's Jason talking about Bill Hader, the great comedian, by the way, who started at Saturday Night Live when it was funny. Yes, Bill Hader. Good reference. Okay. You like black too. Emma, this is Walter Cronkite. We're reporting live from heaven. Emily Dugan, a rather sordid but very beautiful woman, a civilian in her 30s, was taken aback by Rich Lieberman trying to prove once and for all that he is indeed a heterosexual. While doing his YouTube show, Rich began sort of fondling, in an artful way, respectful manner, he began fondling visually and otherwise, Emily, at which point Emily retorted that, no, I'm taken, Rich. LOL. Who the hell knows what that is? But anyway, laugh out loud. Okay. In the meantime, Jason Remington, a well-known Seattle correspondent, also known well of the Rich Lieberman phenomenon, backed him up with references to Bill Hader, a common user, abuser, mimicker of the one Keith Morrison from NBC Dateline. We're now going to wrap up the show. We're going to go back to Rich. I'm Walter Cronkite from heaven, and that's the way it is. Friday, August 29th, 2025. Okay, so it wasn't good. I know. My voice is going to hell in a handbasket. So I'm going to retire from here. Please, folks, please, I know it's a pain in the ass to do this. I want just to subscribe. Just do me a favor. Unless you want to, throw me whatever. If you do both, I will love you forever. And I may even do a show for you. My God, this heartburn is like, oh my God. See, I should not have drunk the Diet Pepsi. Coke, zero. Okay, that's my other impression. I'm Yul Brynner, Coke, zero. And of course, one of my best ones. How many of you remember Peter Falk from Columbo? Okay, anybody out there? Millennials? Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay. This is my Peter Falk. Columbo.
Pardon me. Am I bothering you? Because if I'm bothering you, I will leave the premises because I don't like bothering you. I'm Inspector Columbo. And if I'm bothering you, shame on me.
All right, that's brilliant. Okay, so I do that. I try to do Carson. Not many comedians can do Johnny Carson other than my friend Dana Carvey, but I'm going to give it a go, okay? Ready? Johnny Carson saying goodnight to Ed McMahon 30 years ago, okay?
Well, this is really rather special, and I, for the life of me, I did not know that. I was unaware that you had a cocktail or two, even in your later lives, Ed.
Well, Master, great one. Yes, you are correct, sir. We did. And you are always right, Master. Ha ha. Ha ha. All right, that's my Carson. Okay. Enough of that. All right. All right. So I'm going to get out of here. Okay. That's great. A great Columbo. You goddamn right it is. What I do one other one. I want to see if I could. Oh, yeah. People asked for this too. There was a president, millennials, named Richard Nixon, who, sort of infamously resigned the office of presidency. This little thing called Watergate. And this is Richard Nixon, okay? I want to say, without a doubt, that I am not a crook. Very much a peaceful soul. Don't you wish you had me today? Okay, that's my Dick Nixon. All right, let's see what else here we got. All right. So, in any event, Jason, I'll talk to you later, or with an email and a phone number. Maybe do another interview for which I'll buy you a cup of coffee. You've given, that kind of thing. Emily, as my friend in that song said about 30 years ago. Good heavens, Miss Sakamoto, you're beautiful. You blinded me with science. Okay, who did that song? Remember that song? She blinded me with science. Science. What was that? What was the guy's name? Somebody will get it. Let's see here. All right, so it was a great Columbo. Yeah, that's Jason. Let's see. Rich, headlines in Vegas next week, opening for Wayne Newton. He's still around. Who is this? This is Jason. Okay. He's still performing, right? What is he, about 98? You know this story, and then I'm going to go. But Wayne Newton and Johnny Carson were like bitter rivals, He never had him on the show. In fact, it was downright mafiosa-ish, folks. So look at this fucking room. I'm very impressed. And put the word out. So I'm going to be back tomorrow, right, folks? What is it, Saturday night? I'm going to be here a little later. and I'm debating on whether to do a Saturday or Sunday. But I know many of you are going to watch the telethon.
And that guy, the guy that talked like this, Jerry Lewis and all that, but I'm not going to do my Jerry Lewis because it's so stupid and all that.
But again, subscribe to me. If you're not on X or Twitter or whatever the fuck they call it these days, I do a lot of my plugs when I'm going to be on. And you like impressions, if you like a little vaudeville, if you like a little song, a little dance, a little seltzer down your pants, which I just stole from the Mary Tyler Moore show. Rest in peace, Mary. What I was going to say something. I forgot. Oh, yeah. So I'm here all the time. Subscribe. Tell your lawyer, your priest, your rabbi, your ex-wife, your ex-husband, your dentist about Rich. And I promise you, folks, there is nothing more invigorating to be serious for a moment, to do this show, and to have people like Emily and Jason Remington, the great Seattle media figure, and others, people out there who have commented here, some of whom have gone to bed. But I appreciate coming into your livelihoods and your lives and to express my disdain for most things media, even though I'm one of them now, apparently, allegedly. But we'll be back tomorrow, probably right around 6, 7 o'clock Pacific time. Again, go to, or you're right there now, just say you're on here, subscribed. And I'll be back tomorrow. I hope you are having a wonderful beginning to the Labor Day, the last part of summer 25, the 50-year anniversary of Jaws, the 50-year anniversary of the first album, little fact stuff here, of Earth, Wind, and Fire, and just last month, the 50-year anniversary of the disappearance of one James Hoffa, who is now underneath a freeway overpass in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The things you learn from Rich. All right, folks, subscribe. You got my email address. You got the text number. Thank you for watching. We will see you on Saturday. And go get some good Chinese food. Watch your viewing events. And see you later, alligator.